Hello everyone, in today's tutorial we're going to be going over how to perform a double roundhouse kick starting with the rear leg in Taekwondo. Before attempting this kick, I do recommend you watch our roundhouse kick and our jump roundhouse kick tutorials because the technique in those kicks will significantly help you in learning this kick. Additionally, I do recommend you warm up and loosen before attempting any of these kick progressions because this kick is very high impact on the lower body joints. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you 4 breakdowns today. The first breakdown number 1, is going to have 9 steps. So, whenever you're learning a new kick, make sure you start in a very clear fighting stance. Step number 1 for a double roundhouse kick starting with the rear leg is going to be knee up. So, whichever leg you want to kick with first, you want to have that leg in the back. So I'm going to have my left leg in the back because I'm going to be doing a left-right double kick. Because the first step is that knee up, I want to have my hips and my shoulders more forward. Make sure your guard is up, and then I'm going to slightly load my legs, starting in a nice fighting stance. All right, so step number 1, raise your knee straight up. This double kick is going to be 2 roundhouse kicks, so I want to make sure my foot position is already correct. So I'm going to point my foot, and then when we do kick, I want to strike with the instep. Step number 2 is going to be pivot. So for my double kick, I'm going to be doing a partial pivot for the first kick and a full pivot for the second one. So step number 2, I'm going to pivot on the ball of my foot about 45 to 90 degrees. At the same time, I'm going to slightly rotate my hips and my shoulder over. So 2, pivot. Step number 3 is extend your leg, just like a roundhouse kick, fully extend, and make sure your spacing is correct. So I'm striking with the top of my foot, the instep of my foot. Step number 4 is going to be pull back. So from here, step number 5, going into step number 5, you'll be able to tell if you over-rotated because it's going to be very difficult to switch. So step number 5 is to switch, raise the other knee up, straight up. So step number 5, switch, and raise your knee up. And then from here, we just repeat the same roundhouse kick technique. So pivot, 6, and then 7, extend, 8, pull back, and 9 is going to be set it down. So there's 3 different styles of how you can do a double kick in terms of recovery. For this demonstration, I'm going to set my second kicking leg down in front. Additionally, there's 3 ways you can travel distance with this kick. For this demonstration, I'm going to stay on my spot, mostly on my spot for this double kick. Okay, and then we'll go into detail regarding those different variations of the double kick a little later on after I show you this breakdown number 1. All right, so let's go through those 9 steps again. Starting in a good fighting stance, hips and shoulders more forward. Step number 1, knee up, my foot is pointed, guard comes in. 2, pivot, not too much. Rotate the hip and shoulder slightly over. 3, extend. 4, pull back. 5, switch. 6, pivot. 7, kick. 8, pull back. And 9, set it down. For now, when you're first learning it, you can just set it down in front to make it a little easier when you're first learning it. All right, so that's breakdown number 1. As you get more comfortable with any breakdown, try to put a little less time in between each of those steps so we can get closer and closer to the final version of the kick. So starting in that good fighting stance, knee up 1, 2, turn, 3, kick, 4, pull back, 5, switch, 6, turn, 7, kick, 8, pull back, and 9, recover and set it down. Next, let's move on to breakdown number 2. So for this breakdown, we're just going to pair up the steps, just like this. So the first step of this breakdown is going to be knee up and turn, just like this. Up, turn. The next step, I'm going to kick and pull back. Kick, pull back. Now, switch off and turn. That's going to be the next step. Knee up, turn. Then, next one, kick, pull back. And then, the last step will be by itself. Just set your leg down just like that. Okay, so all we're doing is pairing up the steps from breakdown number 1. If you're struggling with this breakdown, you can say it. That will help you actually memorize the steps a little more and help you understand the steps. All right, so up, turn, kick, pull back, switch, turn, kick, pull back, and then set it down. One more time. Try to put a little less time in between each of those steps as you get better and better at that progression. Up, turn, kick, pull back, switch, turn, kick, pull back, down. So for breakdown number 3, we're going to do the first kick and pull back, just like this. Kick, pull back, stop here. Then from here, you can do the second kick, jump off, switch, and kick, and then land. Kick, pull back, and down. Kick, pull back, pause, switch, kick, pull back, and set it down. Knee up, turn, kick, pull back. Switch, turn, kick, pull back, down. And that's breakdown number 3. And the final breakdown, breakdown number 4, this is the final version of the kick. So I just want to take out that stop between kicks 1 and 2. So right after I kick here, I want to immediately jump off and switch and kick with the other leg. So I kick, then switch off, and kick with the other leg without a pause in between. Making sure I still pass through all of those previous steps from before, maintaining all of that proper technique that we went over. Kick, kick. And next, let's talk about some of the more finer details of this kick. Depending on which kick you want to have more power with, that will determine how much you want to pivot on that respective kick. So for example, I'm doing a lighter kick on the first kick to save all my power for the second kick. So that means I need to partially pivot for the first kick, and then on the second kick, I'll fully rotate over using my hips and shoulders completely to generate more power. So the way I was demonstrating before, up, whenever I turn, I'm going to do a partial pivot, kick, pull back, and then when I switch off, I want to drive that hip over all the way as much as I can and drive that shoulder over, trying to land in a full roundhouse kick pivot, then kick, pull back, and down. So if you want to have more power on the first kick, then you'll pivot more on that first kick, but it's going to be a little harder to drive that hip all the way over in the opposite direction and get that shoulder over. So we recommend having a lighter kick on the second kick if you fully commit or fully pivot on that first kick. So let's pivot on that second one. The most common variation you're going to see of this double kick is probably going to be the light hard. So you do a partial pivot on the first one and then more of a full pivot on the second one, just like that. All right. Also, let's talk about the different variations of where you can strike to with this kick. So the most common ones you're going to see is the body, 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 and then the other most common one you're going to see is body, head. So you strike to the body first, and then you just kick a little higher on that second one, striking to the head, just like that. Depending on how much distance you want to travel and which direction you want to travel with this kick, you should change how you jump during the switch step in the double roundhouse kick. So the one I was demonstrating earlier, I was staying more on my spot. So after I kick, I bring my other leg pretty much next to my jumping leg. So I'll just set it down next to the other leg. All right, so that will help me maintain my spacing between me and my opponent. So I kick, and then the leg, the first kicking leg, comes down next to my jumping leg where it was before. That will help me maintain that spacing there, and that's if you don't want to cover any distance, either forward or backward. All right, another way you can do it is you can travel forward with it. So for this demonstration, I'm going to kick the air on the first one, and then I'll kick the bag on the second one. So I can kick, and then when I jump, I want to focus more of my energy forward so I can cover distance, I can get closer to my opponent and land that second kick. So jump off and kick like that. So understanding how to perform a jump roundhouse kick already will really help you with understanding how to do the double kick forward. So I kick, kick, and I travel forward with it. All right? And the most difficult variation is probably the moving backwards one. So I kick, hold it up, and then from here, I want to jump backward like that. Think about jumping backward. And then this leg should land behind me like that whenever I switch. All right? So you can use this defensively. I kick, hold it up, jump back, and kick. This is good if you have a really aggressive opponent and you're trying to do that double still. Kick, kick, slightly moving back just like that. So let's go through those 3 variations. You can travel distance, and depending on which direction you want to go, change how you jump. So on my spot, this will help me maintain my spacing between my opponent. Kick, kick. Your first kicking leg should pretty much replace your jumping leg. That's how you'll keep the spacing. You can travel forward. So after your first kick, I jump at my target, jump at it. Understanding jump roundhouse kick will significantly help you in understanding that double kick. And then the last one is the backwards double kick. So after my first kick, I'm going to think about setting this one behind me and sort of jumping behind me. Jump backward to do a backwards double kick, just like this. Kick, kick. It's going to be difficult, but it is possible to perform a double kick backwards. Next, let's talk about the 3 ways you can recover after you perform this kick. All right, so after I do my double kick, I can set my second kicking leg down in front. This is going to be your fastest option. It's good if you want to go into the clinch or if you want to follow up with that same leg again. So you're not going to get jammed if you try to alternate. So after I do my double kick, I set that leg down in front. Good if I want to go into that clinch. It's going to be your fastest option, and it's easy to follow up with that same leg again. Option number 2 is going to be to bring your feet back together, or sort of like a parallel stance like this. It's going to be medium speed, and it's going to allow you to follow up with the opposite leg a little easier without jamming yourself. And option number 3 is to return to another fighting stance. So I kick, kick, and I pull that leg all the way to the back. It's going to be the slowest, but you're going to maintain spacing away from your opponent. So if you want to return to a defensive position, kick, kick, return like that. It's good if you want to return to a defensive position so you're not too vulnerable after you land. All right, so let's go through those 3 recoveries real quick one more time. So after I do my double kick, set the kicking leg down in front. Good for clinch. Good for following up with that same leg. And it's going to be the fastest recovery. Recovery number 2. Bring your feet together like this. You're a little more open because of your landing, but it's easy to follow up with the opposite leg. And then recovery number 3 is going to be the slowest, but you're going to recover all the way to a more defensive stance, ready for any counter attack. So kick, kick, and return to another fighting stance just like that. And also the benefit to that one is you keep space away from your opponent. You're spaced out from them. Lastly, let me give you a couple of tips to make sure your double roundhouse kick is as fast and as powerful as it can be. So as always, make sure you start in a very good fighting stance, load those legs, hands are up, and I'm spotting my target. After that first kick, I want to switch very intensely. Don't do a very lazy switch. All right? It has to be a very sudden, very intense switch. So I switch off really quick, switch. All right? You can think of raising the other leg up, and I want you to also think about setting this leg down. So they're doing the opposite thing, right? I'm really trying to get that leg down fast and get my other leg up super fast at the same time. Making sure you're not jumping up too high. You want to stay along the ground. All right, but when you're first learning it, if you do need a little more height, it's okay to go up a little more. But I do recommend staying low to the ground. That will help you have less impact on those ankles, help you protect those ankles a little more. Also, do not over-rotate. All right, that's the most common thing I see. If you over-rotate on that first kick and then trying to do a full roundhouse kick on the second one, it's going to be incredibly difficult to get over to that side. So do not over-rotate on that first kick. All right? And for running style kick, which is what I'm demonstrating today, you want to drop your arm to the same side that you're kicking with, just like this. All right? Like when you're walking or marching, your arm should naturally drop to the same side that matches the knee that's raising up. Whenever you're doing a running style kick, that's the same thing you want to do. When I do that first kick, I drop the arm here, jump off, I switch the arms. So not only does that guard your body when you're doing the kick, but it also helps you create a counterweight for your body, which will give you a little more speed. So when I kick left, I drop left, and when I kick right, I drop right. Just don't forget about that other hand coming up to protect you in the middle of that. So watch my hands for this one. It's like I'm running. That's why we call it a running style kick. And that's how you perform a double roundhouse kick, starting with the rear leg in Taekwondo. If you have any suggestions for what we should do a tutorial on next, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. This is Champions Taekwondo Academy. Thanks for watching.